Rob remembers where he puts his keys, will not be seen tonight, so we can bring you part two of the interview with Abby Hagyard.
Me, my life rewired. I was broken, now I'm whole. Wrote new chapters for my soul. Not the end, just re-inspired. This is me. My life
When I do these comic cons, the hilarious thing is I have no idea who anybody is dressed up as. And when I say I have no idea, the only person I have ever recognized at any of these events was Darth Vader and the Stormtroopers. I have no clue. They come to the booth and they're all dressed up like the side of a mountain, and I'm thinking, did you drive here dressed like that? Like how did you get? Did you walk? Because what is that?
I
And then
wondered
they
about
come in
that
on
myself.
right. They come in dressed and they're all fabulous, and I'm smiling brightly, and I know that I look like mom. I don't mean I look like mom, but I know I'm saying, well, hello, dear, and who are you? So I feel like that woman at Halloween. Well, here you go, sweetheart, and who are you supposed to be?
Do you feel
That's
like
what.
handing them candy?
That's right. So when somebody says, well, I'm thing of thing, and I say, well, of course you are.
Whatever
So I
that
gave
is.
up. I gave up completely trying to be the celebrity who meets all these people. So what I do is there's no table. I don't sign anything. I have a banner on the wall behind me of the lockers from the kid show. And I have another banner behind me of the Care Bears that I voiced. And then in between the two banners, I have mirrors. And I have a huge bag of feather boas. And when people come to, and I've hired 3 photographers, professional photographers. People come to the booth and they say, oh my God, it's Abby, it's mom, it's a Care Bear. And I say, oh my God, you know what's going to be perfect on you? The blue boa. Boa. And then I turn them around and I say, let's go to the mirror and let's get you all fabulous. Meanwhile, my 3 photographers are paparazziing. Poof, 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 poof. Chin up. That's beautiful, darling. Work it, work it. And they suddenly, they're kind of, oh my, I just, what, you mean like this and like that? Yes, yes. And
Love it.
then I get a Sharpie and I say, listen, I have a question. I know you're busy. Is there any chance I could get, is it the Care Bears or is it the kids show? Oh, it's Care Bears. Okay, walk them over. My photographers are still doing the thing. Hand them Sharpie. Say, could I get your autograph? You, you want you want my autograph? Well, you must be famous. You got a boa. Everybody knows who you are. Look at all the pictures. Why, I wouldn't even know which is your favorite bear. Okay. And they sign it, and the photographers are taking their pictures. And they walk away, Rob, from my booth about 4 inches taller.
You gave them an experience that no one else will ever be able to come close to.
That's right. They got inside. They came in through door number 3, and they're inside fame with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the rest of the day, when they're going by, see them talking with their families and everything, and then they see me, they're going,
I love it.
it's incredible. So last year, I said to the organizer, if I only do one event a year, unless somebody, really pushes for it, I'm going to do a book. All the pictures I've been taking for the last 5 or 6 years. I'm going to do a book. Hopefully, I can get it back from the publishers. And it's just all the pictures by year, right? All the different characters, all the people, all the families with their kids. It just the whole thing is just pictures of all these people, year by year. And the cover of the book is "We Are the Unforgettables."
That's
So
such a great idea.
I have this book. I did a book called Fame. I interviewed the kids. I interviewed celebrities that I worked with, that I've known, and a lot of the kids from the show. And I and I called the book Fame, the collector's edition. And mostly I wanted to do it so I could say I wrote the book on fame, And so what I go through just to have a talking point, right? However, this weird thing happened. I asked the first time, it was a random thing. What's your personal definition of fame? I asked. And I got, gosh, I don't know, because I'm interviewing them in 2016, right? They're older now. They were famous when they were younger,
Yeah.
and so they've had a lot of time to think about it. I interviewed 25 people. I got 25 completely different answers. And after the first 3 or 4, I thought, I don't know what I'm looking at here. What am I looking at here? What is that? Because it's a pattern. And then I interviewed more of them and more of them. And I thought, you know what? That's why nobody can really comprehend fame. That's why people are so desperate, because it's entirely subjective. It's not what I think
True.
I am. It's what they think I am. It's not even their subjectivity, right? It's a completely other experience that I have no control of. I can't change how other people see me. So we are either infamous or famous or recognized because we run the corner store or we're the local cop. But the one thing else that I realized in all the conversations was, and by the way, how weird to talk to a 40-year-old person who was a 12-year-old kid. Like, that's a freaky thing to
Yeah.
have that happen. When you're famous, very similar to what happens with a camera. You know, people are always upset because a camera makes it look like you put on 10 pounds.
Yeah.
That's because it flattens you. So if you have good bones, the camera likes you. If you don't have good bones, you look like a potato or a pillow, right? Fame creates that same two-dimensionality.
Yeah.
And so if, for instance, you, without your podcast, without your book, without your snackables, you're the injured guy.
True.
You're not Rob anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know that guy? Have you seen his videos? You know, the injured guy, the brain guy. You're not known by who you are. You're known by what you did or what was done to you.
Right.
And so everybody loses a layer of connection.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Right? So this has predated all this COVID stuff, and the screen is making us disconnected. No, if you can't identify with people on a personal one-to-one basis, then you lose the capacity to care about them, to understand them,
Yeah.
right? And so on top of that, if I am known as Valerie Prevert, then who am I today? I have her there. When I first moved in and set everything up, I was looking on the camera the first time, and I thought, I've got her facing the camera. Valerie is photobombing me. Not for long. And I turned her sideways. This is my office. Get your own damn camera. But in order for us to grow and evolve and feel confident about who we are, we need to surround ourselves with all the things that remind us. If you change your brand, you know, if you said, you know what, I'm tired of being the brain guy, I'm going to change it now. And I'm going to say, I'm the other guy. Well, 90% of the people who love you as the brain guy are going to be offended. They're going to feel like you broke up with them.
Yeah.
And what the hell did I do? What did he do that? What's he doing that for? So in order for me to be able to be alive and well now, in order for me to be able to be on the video, to show people that I'm not a tired old gray thing in the corner, that I look exactly like me, I wanted people to be able to embrace the branded part of me they knew and enjoy the fact that I like to wear ridiculous shoes, that I'm colorful, that I'm a good storyteller,
That you are.
that this is what I consider a colorful, warm, and inviting office. And then I tell the stories about my ancestors, and I tell the stories about being in the military, and I tell the stories about that. In fact, yes, I'm a terrible cook. So all the jokes on television were art imitating life for real. And now people want to get to know more. And what they don't realize, as most people don't realize, but you know, the audience thinks they're the only ones looking at anybody. They don't realize that we're looking at them.
They really don't.
They don't realize, you know, when you were watching the videos and you said, you know, and when you said, you know, I've been watching in the evenings because my life is kind of complicated, and then you got that opportunity to watch in the morning, and I said, oh my God, well, let's talk. And we're comparing notes about how complicated life can get. You're not defined by what happened to you.
Right.
You're using what happened to you to connect to other people who feel isolated by what happened to them.
Exactly. And I've become really encouraged even more lately because people are really, they're connecting with what I'm saying. Not that I'm some great, you know, whatever, but my lived experience is making that connection.
Yeah.
And they're going, wait a minute, I feel that way too. So it's kind of like their aha moment that, wait, there is a way out of this. I don't have to sit and spin the wheels.
When, you know, the interesting thing about, we can only see the world here. It's a really clever psychiatrist who was asked, how do kids grow up so different when they were raised by the same parents? And the psychiatrist said, they're not raised by the same parents. Well, yeah, brother and sister. No. Their experience with the parents is a different experience than the sibling had, because you're 6 inches further here and it's 10 minutes later, and the parents are different 10 minutes later or earlier, and they have already been through something, and so their response to you is going to be shaded slightly differently. And so everybody, it's an original. Everything is a one-off. Because of that, we think we're just like everybody else, but we're not. Everybody is vastly different. And we look for the commonalities to feel connected.
Right.
But the commonalities are random. That's why one of the things that I talk about a lot, you know, stop using soft language. How are you? Fine. What does fine mean?
Fine.
I said to somebody, if you and I went shopping and I put on a dress and I came out of the fitting room and I would say, what do you think? And you said, fine. I would go in, take the dress off, cut it into small pieces and set fire to it. I'm not going to wear a dress that's fine. No. I work really hard for the money and I'm going to get a dress and you're going to go, holy crap. How many colors does it come in? I mean, get all of them. That's the dress I want.
Yep.
If all the dresses cost $40, I want that one. I don't want, it's fine. You look fine. I look fine. Come here. And so I don't know what you mean by fine. Somebody says, is it hot in here? I don't know what you mean by that. If I'm having a hot flash and you're wearing an extra sweater, we both think the other one is a little light in the head. Because everything is a subjective experience.
That's true.
Fame is subjective. Their opinion of me is subjective. That's why when I get on an elevator and people say, hello, and I say, hi. And then I say, so, on a scale of 10, how's the day? What? I don't know. On a scale of 1 to 10, how's the day unfolding? Oh, I don't know. I'm having a pretty bad day. No, not you. The day. Oh, the day. Bad day's not bad, actually. Stopped raining. I don't know. 7. What happened to them when they got off the elevator? First of all, they think I'm crazy, maybe, but it's not a 4, it's a 7. What did they do? They anchored themselves to something tangible.
Yeah.
That they can place a real value on. People aren't doing that.
No. Not at all.
And the other part of that, I have a friend who went through a lot in just a sad kind of upbringing because, like many parents, they weren't actually any good at parenting. And so this person basically raised themselves. And they've been very unhappy about it, as anybody would be. And I said, there's a way to come around that. Because, of course, we assume that if we weren't cared for to the size of our need, it's because we didn't deserve it. It's because there's something wrong with us. That is what everybody basically does.
Yeah.
Okay. I said, when you buy a container of something, I look around and of course I don't have a container of anything, but let's say this was a container of something. And, ready? Let's say it was, click. Let's say this was 12 fluid ounces. And I screw it off the top and I try to pour 16 fluid ounces into it. It's not going to happen.
Nope. You're going to have a mess.
Mm-hmm. Because the capacity of this container is 12. That it can't hold 16 simply means there's too much fluid for the capacity. I said, what if your parents are operating at a 6 out of 10 all the time? And you are a natural born 12. Your brother and sister were 8s. They have a better memory of what it was like being raised by 6s than you do.
Right.
It's not that you're a handful. You just needed parents with more capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So what has it given you? It's given you an understanding that there's all different kinds of shapes and sizes of capacity. And if we are dealing with people who can't show up, all right then, they can't show up. Next page.
Yeah.
And because this is that, are you fighting back or forward?
Yeah.
How long do you want to have that conversation about? And then they could have done this and they could. No, they couldn't have. They couldn't have. The other premise that I give people is, do you know what a waste of time it is to try and discuss shades of pink to a colorblind person?
That's a good analogy.
I mean, you can go to town all day on fuchsia, but it's not going to do anything.
Right.
You can scream at them all you like, but what they're looking at is shades of gray.
Mm-hmm.
And what the hell is wrong with you, fuchsia? What? Two people yelling at each other, My dad was colorblind. My dad, he had red-green color blindness, which meant basically that for him, everything was peanut butter color. And the only reason I know it's peanut butter color is because he said everything is that color. And he pointed to the jar of peanut butter. So his whole life, traffic lights, which one is on is the question.
Yes. I have run into that. I'm colorblind.
Oh, no, really?
Yes.
Are you red-green?
I am green and blues.
Okay. Green and blue. So green, blue. So you don't see, wow, you don't see any of the warm colors then.
No. We went to Florida one year. I know the traffic lights here because
They're vertical.
They're vertical. In Florida,
Horizontal is
they're
scary.
horizontal. And I was driving, and as I'm coming to the light, I told Sheila, I said, "Stop or go, stop or go, stop or go."
Yeah, yeah,
It's like, I'm driving the rest of the trip.
yeah. Here, you take the wheel. No, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause I'm like, I'm used to up and down, not left and right.
That was exactly the thing. Which one is on? Which one is on? Right.
Hmm.
And so imagine his life after the military. He had no idea how to put clothing on himself. It didn't matter when he was a little kid. Little kids wear everything, right?
Yeah.
But you get out of the military and you got a lot of braid and brass on your shoulders. You should know how to dress yourself. You should not look like you came out of a tornado. But and so my mother would say, this and lay out all his clothes for him, and I would think, why is that? But then I realized, oh yeah, that's right, peanut butter color. So I can't see the world through his eyes. I can't see the world through your eyes, and I can't see what the world's color spectrum looks like through your eyes.
True.
So if somebody wants to write a book, if somebody wants to have a career, if somebody wants to be in a relationship and it works and then it doesn't, after everything that we've talked about today, how on earth is that person supposed to be able to figure out all by themselves which thing went off the rails? There's too many variables.
Hmm. So true.
And a Viking photographer friend of mine, I said something inane like, but you can't see the forest for the trees. And he said, and in this case, Valkyrie, you are the tree. Fine. The thing is, what an interesting analogy that is
Hmm.
that the tree has no idea there's a forest behind it because it can't turn around and say, geez, how long have you been there?
Right.
Make a noise when you're sneaking up on somebody. So if we can't grasp any of that, and we don't know that it's okay to turn around, if we don't know that it's okay to say, what on earth are you doing? If we don't know that it's okay to look remarkably stupid, somebody said, I don't trust this particular group of people. And I said, wow, you're picky. I said, I just don't trust people in general because all humans are flawed. And you just give them enough time and they're going to show you how flawed they are.
Every time.
Right? Doesn't have to be malicious. They can just do something remarkably stupid. Wow. Did you rehearse that? No? Wow. I'm going to stand over here because that's really dumb. The wonder and the curiosity and the anticipation of magic are a choice. I think they're a choice.
Yeah.
And I think, somebody once said that I picture of me as a little kid, my eyes are really big and so on. Yeah. My eyes are really big. You just look so innocent. No, I'm very confused is what I am. I'm
Right.
going, wow,
Now what?
what the hell am I? Yes, now what? Are we supposed to be doing this? We're supposed to be doing, all right then. And I don't have time to get all caught up in it because 5 minutes from now, I'm going to be surprised again. And then give me another minute and I'm going to be surprised again. So, okay, surprise. Okay, next. And I don't think people understand that stuff hurts and then it stops. And then you feel better.
Yeah.
and then something else hurts,
Hmm.
and then you feel better. And stuff you didn't think was going to be amazing is brilliant. Why would you not allow yourself to experience those things?
Right.
Did you think this was just the opening act and there's something bigger coming? Like, are you?
Hmm. Thing is, if they don't want to step outside of that box, how are you going to fit every opportunity, every experience inside your box? It's not going to happen.
No. When I was, when I knew that the kids show was going to end, um, I had written a lot of stage shows. I'd written the first TV series I got, I had written a stage show. And then I invited everybody from the television community to come and see me do it. And then one of them called the next day and said, "We have a TV show. Would you like to host it?" Sure. Do you pay money? Is it legal? And so um, I I thought, nobody's seen me write anything for a while. I've been doing this show. So I wrote a one woman show, and I called it Gloves Off because mom was going to be gone.
That's
And it was
right,
just a
because
series.
your character always had gloves on.
That's right. Yeah. And the reason for the gloves, um, they said dad needs a wife, kids need a mom, hire somebody, and then the thing with Roger in the car, and I've got the job. But I have fairly graceful hands. They can't cook, but they're fairly. I have like a dancer's hands, right? So we've done the first half season, and the decision makers from Nickelodeon come up to Canada for any number of reasons, not the least of which was to meet me because they had said find somebody. And the decision maker was standing there, and I was talking to somebody, and my hands were all over the place, and fluffing my hair and talking. And then we shot something, and she called me over and called Roger Price over and said, "Listen, I don't want to be the person to ruin this day, but Roger, you're going to have to find somebody else because Abby doesn't look like a housewife. I'm wearing that." And I said, "Which part of wretched is missing?" And she said, "It's not that, it's your hands. They're too expressive, they're too graceful. They're just not remotely a housewife's hands." And bless his soul, the props guy who made the lamp that I broke years later walks up behind me because I'm going, "What?" And he slaps into my hand a pair of pink rubber gloves. And I said, "Oh, thanks, Dean. Yes, I'd forgotten these." And I put them on and I said, "Look, Ma, no hands." And she laughed and she said, "Oh, fine, you can stay." So
Wow.
there was no gloves in the first season, pink gloves in the second season. And then I thought, well, we're not wearing pink gloves. And I went and got a pair of gloves that matched the apron, and yellow gloves for the rest. And then, of course, the librarian had to wear gloves, and every other character except the nurse had to wear gloves because the characters were old. The characters were unfortunate looking. So when you can recognize that there's a way to adapt to a situation,
Yeah.
and you don't have your brain all over the place wasting your energy on pointlessness,
Right.
you are smart enough, you are strategic enough, you are preemptive strike enough
Hmm.
to say, "Hold that thought, go and fix it."
You're right.
So I'll be right back. Or as Dean, and I looked at him, and so put the gloves on. Better. Um, you have to be able to think fast.
Yeah.
You have to have the confidence to think fast and act on whatever comes into your head.
Right.
You have to know that there's always going to be fallout of some kind.
Hmm.
But if you're not prepared to be there, then stay home and stay under the bed,
Right.
is really all we have. And the element that people don't understand And this is where I got so interested and passionate about writing another one-woman show and incorporating the idea of doing characters and sketch and whatnot, is because we can't see the things that are holding people back.
Right.
We can't tell why they're behaving like an idiot. We don't know what their hesitation is from. I didn't know what ADHD brains were dealing with. And now that I understand, I can accommodate it a little better.
Yeah.
Keen but slow. Sometimes I'm a really slow learner and I think, oh, that's right, this. And so everything is a learning curve. But people are not living now.
No.
When somebody said, we'll have all these appliances so you have more leisure time, everybody assumed that people would do creative, constructive things with their leisure time, but nobody told them what those creative, constructive things were.
No, because most people are doing this now.
Sure. But before that, they would read a book, or they would stare out a window and daydream. I mean, the people who are daydreamers have always been daydreamers. They would just use a different prop or tool.
Yeah.
The thing is that if you take away your opportunity to be up close and personal with another human being, then you're going to be up close and personal with the next best thing to it. This is a job for Friend Bear, right?
Yep.
And people come to the booth and they say, oh, can you do Friend Bear's voice? And I say, I can do Friend Bear's voice. How long would you like me to do Friend Bear? And they just have a conniption fit. Because part of them is actually looking at the bear while I'm talking. And then I will do it. I will say, you do realize that you're looking at the bear, right?
I love it.
What? And I said, I'm over here. That's just a prop.
Yeah. It's funny. It's so funny.
And then when they say, here's what's freaky, you're talking to me, but you're using the bear's voice. And I said, no, that's my voice.
Yeah, that is your voice. I want to close with 2 questions.
Yes.
I like to ask these of people that are used to being in front of the camera. What's the one question that you have always wanted to be asked, but no one ever asks it?
Wow. We need to make a note of today's date. I'm speechless. What is the one question that no one has ever asked me? People don't ask me a lot of questions.
Well,
they don't ask me a lot of questions.
They want to know about your TV history and the Care Bears. So you did Teddy Ruxpin, Dennis
For
the
Better,
Menace.
For Worse.
Yeah.
Teddy Ruxpin. Oh, yes. They people who come to meet somebody who is famous, they want to know something for them that they have always wondered.
Yeah.
I think, this is a very wise question that you're asking. I don't think people ask questions of other people. I don't think people ever ask questions of other people. I think they ask questions that they have always wondered inside themselves. I don't think anybody has ever asked me that way. You asked me a question about what I have anticipated and no one has ever touched on.
Okay, here's the flip side of it. The question too, and you'll probably have an answer for this one. What's the one question you get asked that you're like, oh, if I have to say that story one more time, or is there a particular question that you get asked a lot that you were like, I wish they just go away?
No question is a bad question. And again, this is very, very clever, Rob. The question that everybody asks is the question they have in common, that they want the answer to validate them for caring about it, I think.
Yeah.
They want me to say to them, what a great question, because it's the one they hold closest to their heart. True. I think that's because usually it's about something to do with the work. People have never asked me any question that was about me, I don't think. Like Abby, human being, Abby, world traveler, Abby, survivor. There is a question. No one has asked me what the pivotry moment feels like. No one has ever asked me. So I want to say what it is, because if we can close with that,
sure,
then it brings us back to this chapter in my life career.
Absolutely.
It never occurs to us until we're in it that something has either just ended or just begun.
That's very deep.
Right? We can talk about what it would be like if, and and if, and imagine it. But I can remember the 3 or 4 times when I have had that moment.
Yeah.
And I have been navigating my way through something ordinary and some very small thing, very small. It's never gong. It's a small thing. Has stopped me in my tracks because it has either shown me something about the other person or about myself that I did not consciously know until that moment. And when I see it, you can't fix what you can't see. The minute you see it, you say either yes or check, please.
Yeah.
Right? And because it's a big moment. It is what comes right before. It's the wait what before the now what.
Right.
And the wait what is, how long has that been happening? How long have I known this? How long have they? How long has this? And then at exactly the same moment, I think it's an exact same moment, in the middle of the wait what, we already know the decision we've made.
Yeah.
There's no dither, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So oh my gosh, your timing is brilliant. So here's the thing. If we actually do know when we're face to face with the defining moment, if we know, then what is the one thing we need in order to say, alrighty then, let's do this? What is it that we need? And I think what's missing is the confidence that we can.
I would agree with that. I think that's what holds a lot of people back, is the confidence.
But if you're so certain, it's absolutely, there's nothing about it. The confidence is already there. The confidence has Bugs Bunny kissed you on the nose. Poof, right?
Yep.
And so, and I also know from those moments, those boom, stop, pivot, you can't unknow it.
True.
If you stay and put up with it, you know you're staying and putting up with it.
Mm-hmm. But
You know
the fear of not getting out of it is what's crippling a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what the concept of the training is, the navigating is. I am the navigator. I've done what you're doing.
Yeah.
I know how hard it is. Would you like me to help you? If top athletes, I was talking to an NHL hockey player, and I said, what happens at the end of the season? And he said, you start training. And I said, okay, but what if you end the season early? He said, you start training. I said, I thought training camp was in the fall. And he said, no, you train to maintain so you're good enough to even go to training camp. And I said,
wow,
really? And he said, oh yeah. He said, there's a condition we get in. It's called flow. And what I described this morning, when you get all three brains aligned,
mm-hmm.
all of them, that's flow.
Yep.
Okay. You know it, right? I'm seeing you. You're in it, right? You know what flow is. If you've never been in flow, you have no idea. Once you've been in it, you know how to get there again.
Yep.
Okay. Every athlete goes back to maintain their access to flow. You see athletes who were hurt, and you see in their eyes that they're not coming back. Right. Something broke, right? Mm-hmm. And they're not going to risk it. They lost that need, that edge.
Yep.
Their now what moment, their pivotal moment was, I'm done.
Yeah. And
one of the things that I've noticed a lot, which was that began with COVID, is entrepreneurs, business owners, CEOs, decision makers. They're walking around and they're not smiling from the cheekbones up. They've lost their edge.
Yeah.
And they don't know how they lost it. They don't know when they lost it. They're hoping nobody notices that they lost it. And they know they're not going to make it if they go to training camp.
Yeah.
Well, Gary and I can fix that. CEO guys don't want to hear it from somebody like me because there's two eyes an idiot. And so, and women entrepreneurs don't want to hear it from a military guy like Gary, because what could he possibly know about the way, right? So the combination is, I'll take this one, you take that one. But the conversation is, can I help you with that? Would you like to know where door number 3 is? Here's the key. Would you like to know? And I guess the last thing I want to say, thank you for giving me this amazing moment.
Oh, you're welcome.
Fight or flight are primal survival,
mm-hmm.
fear-based. If you are in a state of fear, your prefrontal cortex isn't working. You cannot do cause and effect value judgments when you're running screaming.
Right.
Because you can't hear your prefrontal cortex saying, that's going to be a cliff.
Yep.
Whoa.
That's going to hurt.
Does it hurt yet? Okay. So we assume when we're in a state of fear that we only have 2 choices. Fish or cut bait. Stay or go.
Yeah.
The fact is, when you look at the arc of anything, it doesn't go boop, boop. It's an arc. In the middle is where door number 3 is. Door number 3 is intelligence. Door number 3 is wisdom. Door number 3 is value judgment. Door number 3 is the thrive capacity.
Yeah.
To take primal and then put cherries on top.
Right.
To connect those 3 brains. And so door number 3, the door number 3 philosophy is, here's the key. Would you like me to show you where flow is? And yes, you can have 100% positive. You can have 100% negative. You can argue all you like, but all you end up doing is staying exactly where you are. And the opportunity to say to people, the way I'm saying in these videos, it's a village concept. They've done studies. If there's 10 people on a street and somebody has an unfortunate incident, 9 people will help them. If there's 100 people on the street and somebody has an unfortunate incident, 99 people ignore them. Because you can't feel intimate connection in a crowd.
True.
So big city connection is not the same as village connection.
Right.
And the magic number is 100.
And you're building that.
Right?
I see
it. All the time.
Yeah.
And so what I want to do, what I think is important, and we talked about this in our fabulous phone call. TED Talks are amazing. But it's all about the person coming out with a great idea and everybody sits there and goes, yes, oh my God, that's amazing. And then they leave and another person comes. No. TED comes out and says what TED has to say. And now let's have a conversation about it. Because there's only 100 of us here in the room.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. Talk amongst yourselves and then let's discuss it.
I love that philosophy.
Right?
Yeah.
TED 2.0.
It's a better philosophy because, like you said, the guy comes out, he talks, Roman applause, and they leave. And what do they do with the information that they leave with?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Because then there's another speaker who comes. Like you pay for the day and there's 10 people who come and talk to you. And I can't remember what the third guy was. Was it a guy? I don't know. Do you remember what they said? No.
Exactly.
Like too many commercials in a commercial block, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I remember the first guy and I remember the last one. I have no idea what happened for the other 14 minutes of the commercials. So the idea of connection, connect, engage, transform.
Yeah.
Connect, engage, transform. You cannot walk away from an engaged conversation without a transformation. The feather boas and the camera people get on an elevator and say on a scale of 1 to 10, how's the day? They are transformed when they leave. What's really funny in the management building, management office, I went in the other day, manager looked up and said, 7. And I said, what? Oh, 7. All right then. He said, and you? I said, well, I was a 9 a minute ago, and now I think I hurt myself. So. And he laughed and he said, gotcha. Okay, so you've been waiting then for me to come down. You've been waiting. She's got to come in here sometime. There's a package for her. That's not normal. It's wonderful. There's a connection there.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me, I said the truth. It was terrible. They said, you just love making friends. And I said, no, mostly if there's a fire, I want people to recognize and remember that the redhead isn't in the lobby with us and you'll come and get me. That's really
not a bad idea.
right. Where's Abby? I don't know. She's a 10. She should be here.
She's probably putting the fire out.
Right. So the opportunity to say on one of these podcasts is usually, is there anything that you're doing? Yes. What I'm doing is I'm trying to build a momentum so that people say, we got to get this woman speaking to our group. We got to get people doing something with this woman. I need training and I'm too embarrassed to ask. Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel on any given day? if you're not close to an 8 on a regular basis, you need me. You don't need me forever. You need me for just enough time for you to get your legs back, for you to get your direction back, for you to get that effortless confidence back.
Right.
And then I don't know if we talked about this on our call because we had such a beautiful, wide-ranging conversation. A couple of therapists who are friends of mine said that there is an undiagnosed trauma that everyone is dealing with these days. And it is undiagnosed because nobody has really recognized that it happened. And here's what it is. If you are a prisoner of war, or you commit a crime and you go to prison, either kind, if you misbehave or they want to teach you a lesson, they put you in solitary confinement. Solitary confinement is typically 23 hours a day, 1 hour out in the air, but they're depriving you of your opportunity to interact with other human beings. Mm-hmm. If you are a repeat offender and you are in solitary confinement for a long time, it does something to your mental capacities. When it's done to prisoners of war, they're trying to break them so that they will confess and join the other side and become whatever the objective is. When it's done in a prison because of people who are repeat offenders, they're also trying to break the spirit that is the offender. When you come back from prisoner of war camp, when you come out of prison, you're assigned a caseworker and you get therapy, partly for the effects of prolonged solitary confinement, because the human was not built to be isolated over extended periods of time. It messes with their ability to understand each other and feel safe as a tribal animal, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Tell me again how long we were in prolonged isolation with COVID?
Yeah, was it 3 years or 4 years, something like that?
Yeah, globally. And when COVID ended, were we assigned a caseworker to help us cope with that isolation trauma?
Right.
No.
Exactly.
Because nobody has defined it or diagnosed it or explored what kind of therapy would help.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the whole world has it.
Yeah.
How come I know that? I don't know why I know that, but when I was talking to these two therapists and I said, is there a chance that? And they both separately and together said, yes. So part of what I'm doing with the Lion Effect, with Pivotry in Motion, with this beautiful training thing, is I'm introducing the what ifs. What if that had actually affected your capacity to lean in, to think strategically, and you didn't know it? We're not talking mental health here. We're talking about an injury.
Right.
If you didn't know you were injured and all you knew was that every time you walked, it hurt your right foot, that's because your ankle is broken. It's not your fault that you didn't know it was broken. Right. It doesn't make you a less human being. It means that nobody diagnosed a broken ankle.
Right.
These same two therapists told me something extraordinary. And it was sort of like the cherry on the icing on the cake of why I want to do this. There is such a thing as post-traumatic growth. It is the process by which we rewire the pattern
Mm,
that developed at the scar.
I like that.
I thought you might.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what is the name of your podcast again?
Life Rewired.
Saving the best for the last.
There you did.
So, post-traumatic growth is a concept that is predicated on. Have you seen the MRI videos
Hmm.
of neurons connecting?
Oh, yeah.
And as they connect, the other ones get weaker and disappear?
Yep.
Okay, that is the post-traumatic growth process. It is a conscious decision. I actually introduced it without saying what I was doing this morning. Make the list of 3 things.
I remember that.
Make the list of 3 things, right?
Hmm.
How you feel, what's your mood, and then open the fridge and what am I going to eat? Body, mind, spirit. Make the list of 3 things. Do it every morning. When you go to bed, make the list of 3 things you're going to do. That is the very basic, simple baby steps beginning of post-traumatic growth processes,
Yeah.
strategies. It's that simple. And the reason people have the flare-up of a trauma is because something of a similar nature, something that resonates on the same wavelength, frequency, the sound, the lights, something is so similar to the original experience that brain can't tell the difference. So that if it walks like a lion and it smells like a lion and it roars like a lion, it's a lion.
True.
Unless it isn't. And that brain can't tell the difference. That's how the stresses happen. Post-traumatic growth is the repatterning of that place. Post-traumatic growth is how you come back from identity trauma.
Yep.
And when a CEO is worried that they're going to lose their business, I don't talk about their business. I find out what happened to the person. There's another thing you can use that I think you might like. You know those Russian nesting dolls?
Yeah.
Okay. So find a set that have no drawings on them.
Okay.
Get them on Amazon, $20 or something. Okay. The smallest doll is you. Every next biggest doll is one of the hats you wear, one of the jobs you have.
Oh, wow.
One
Need 2 sets.
of the tribes you belong to.
Yeah.
But the smallest doll is you. And every next doll is a hat. And every next doll is a hat. And every next doll is a hat. So the last doll, the big doll, the doll that says, I'm the CEO. Okay, he is the CEO. But if the smallest doll, the real Rob, has a catastrophic event, that CEO got nothing. He's got nothing. Because the only thing in his core, in the core of every doll, of every hat, every role, every tribe, the only thing at the core is you. So whatever is wrong in the business, it starts at the core. What happened? When was the last time you? Then that's where we start. It's interesting, isn't it? Because in the conversation, the last time you, the dolls, the idea of the rewiring, at some point in those ideas, in those examples, the person's eyes go blink. Quite often they make this noise.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right? That's all 3 brains connecting.
Yep. I was going to say that was the connection being made.
Right?
The light bulb moment.
Yes. Yeah. So I want to do that training because the minute you do it one time, you instantly, all of you, yourself, every part of you says, oh, okay, oh, all right then. All right then. When's our next meeting? Because you got you back.
Mm-hmm.
Now all that we have to do is finesse it.
Right. Correct.
You like it?
I love it.
So the name of the one woman show that precedes all of this is Yes, but Not With You. Because the not with you is the person who won't come out from under the bed.
Yeah. How do people get in touch with you, Abby?
Well, they can find me on Facebook. They can find me on YouTube. They can find me on LinkedIn. I have a website. It's a complicated website name. It's abbyhagyard.com.
Okay. We're going to link all of that below.
Okay.
And it's been such a pleasure talking with you today. I think we could talk for 6 hours and not even scratch the surface.
Well, we'll save it because what we need to be doing is figuring out how to create the hybrid entertainment where there's a live audience
Yeah.
and there's the screen and there's the ability to ask questions and the person to answer it, so that you and I don't have to spend the rest of our lives at airports just to get together and do shows.
There you go. We're going to figure it out. We will figure it out.
Awesome.
Because like
I
I
so
said the other
appreciate
day,
you.
you should be selling out arenas.
Thank you. Well, if you know anybody who's ready to stand outside and say, get your red hots,
We'll work on that.
we can do that. I appreciate all of the incredibly kind things you said in the messages a couple of weeks ago. I appreciate that you were watching the videos, and I so enjoyed our first phone call. And today has been just brilliant.
It
Brilliant.
has been. Actually, it has been a dream of mine, and you've knocked it out of the park.
And for the first time, you now know, I hope, that it took a lot of work to come across as consistently daft and dim as Valerie Prevert.
You did. That shows how great of an actress you are, because you made it look so easy. And you're nothing like that. So
every so often, the character dropped, and I would say a thing to a kid, and then I'd think, oh, no, no. Can we redo that? Because I would say, what is wrong? Sorry.
We'll have to get together again in the future and just do a whole You Can't Do That on Television podcast, and we'll have people ask us questions, and
Oh, that would be so much fun.
that would be. Maybe we could do it live. That would be even better if you'd want to do that, if you're open to
I'd
that.
love that.
Okay.
I'd love that. Sometimes, I'll get questions from somebody, and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, what is wrong with you? They say, do you remember an episode this of whatever that, when Mike turned to you and said blah, blah, and you called him Alistair? And I'm thinking, no. Why would you know how long ago that was?
I barely remember what I had for breakfast, and you're asking me that. Oh gosh. Well,
Oh, all
we're
right.
going to
Well,
have you back.
it's a promise. We're going to have you
will
back.
come
I can't
back, we'll
wait.
have you back.
Awesome. I love it. And so when you're talking to your people, when you're talking to your viewers, your listeners, the people who, reach out to you, tell them that I am looking forward to any of their questions,
Okay.
any of their comments. Reach out to me on Facebook. I'll friend you immediately. There's a group on Facebook, the You Can't Do That on Television official group. You can join that. It's just we want to grow this family. We want to have people who remember feeling justified and finally heard when they watched those shows.
Right.
That we really were exactly what you thought we were. We really were there 100% for the kids and the quality of the show because it was worth doing well.
Awesome. I can't wait to reconnect again so we can do that.
Awesome.
So hang tight real quick. And guys, this has been Life Rewired. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you again, Abby, for being here.
Thanks, Rob.
This is me, my life rewired.